Hello, Bill Johnson here with Johnson Aviation and another maintenance moment. You can see we have the G5 powered up here on the bench. I like to do the calibration and static checks on the bench, and then when I install it in the plane I can just do the leak check and we will be good to go. So the steam gauge altimeter has been purchased new, and you can see on the back behind those cables that it has already been tested. So I do not need to test the altimeter, but I do need to test and calibrate the G5s. Now after you install a G5, if you go to the 6.3.7 section of the installation manual, you'll see there's several checks that need to be done. The one that I can do on the bench is the air data static pressure calibration. And then I can also do the static check required for IFR flight. Now, if you're within tolerances, you don't need to do the calibration. So the way to check that is set your altimeter on 2992, and you'll see we read about 640 feet. The calibrated altimeter set at 2992 reads about 600 feet, and our fancy pedostatic test set, which is used to calibrate altimeters, reads 612 feet. So our steam gauge is off by about 12 feet, but our G5 is off by about 28 feet. If I did the math quickly in my head here. So that actually is out of tolerance. If you look at the calibration requirements, pick something close, but you see 20 feet down in the range we are is the maximum tolerance. So it's off a little bit. I like to have everything spot on. So we're going to go through the calibration procedure for the G5, and then we will perform the altimeter static system check after we complete that here in just a minute. You can see the form I need to fill out. So the first thing is to calibrate the G5. So to do that, you need to go to the maintenance mode. So we'll turn off the G5. And then we will hold in on the knob. We'll simultaneously, this is hard to do, holding a phone, push the power button. And there you go. It powers up into the configuration mode. And here you can set various device information, but we want to go down to the air data and calibrate static pressures. Okay, and there's a warning sign that says you need one of these expensive fancy test sets. In my case, it's a Barfield 1811 HA AOA is the model I have. These test sets with the digital gauges run around $7,000 used. I don't know what they cost new. I couldn't afford it. So I have a used one, and that's what we will be using. So we have the required instrument to do the calibration. You select OK, and then it'll tell you a warning there. I'm just letting you read it. And we meet those requirements with a test set. So we go to Start. Okay, we're going to do this up to 20,000 feet. So the first step is to set the pressure altitude to sea level. Okay, let's go over to our test set here. There's a glare. And we're at 610 feet. So we need to add some pressure to the system to simulate sea level. And we will do this. Okay, you can see we're headed down very gently. You can see the G5 is remaining on that screen waiting on us. Okay, now you just have to dial it in slowly here and get down to 0 feet. Okay, it's really tricky to try to get it spot on. And you can see I overshot a little bit. So I'll try to adjust it back down to 0. And you can really only get it within a foot or two. Pretty difficult to get it exactly on using these manual valve controls. Okay. All right, we're at a foot. I'm going to call that close enough. So now we dial up over here to ready and we push the button. Okay, and it's going to take 26 seconds. Okay, it has finished its calibration point at sea level, and now it is telling us to go to 10,000 feet. Well, it's going to take me about 5 minutes to get there because I won't go any more than about 2,000 feet per minute climb. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll start it up again here once we get to 10,000 feet. Okay, here we are, really close to 10,000 feet. I'm off just a little bit. Let's settle down there a little bit. Now we'll bring it back up. And you're going to have some leakage unless you got a really, really tight system. Okay, that's going to settle in right at 10,000. And we're going to go over here and press ready. You can see that we finished the 10,000. It says proceed to 20,000. That will be our last calibration point since that's above the service ceiling of this aircraft. So we're going to start heading up to 20,000 feet. And again, it'll take another 5 minutes. Okay, we are approaching 20,000 feet. There we go, 20,000 feet. Let's go over here and say ready. And you can see it takes 30 seconds. I'm going to leave this so you can see the message that comes up when it completes. Okay, now we're going to finish here. We don't need to go to 30,000 feet. So I'm going to go to skip and press the knob and it'll say done, and that's it. Okay, now let's exit configuration mode, let it power up, and then I will, you see we're still at 20,000 feet. So I'm gonna go back down to 2992 and see how well everything matches up now. Okay, we're back down to 605 feet, which is 2992. The bleed valves are open, and this is just reading field elevation. And now you'll see after going through the calibration procedure, we were considerably off to start with, and now we're reading 600 feet at 2992. Steam gauge is reading 600 feet at 2992. And our pitot-static test set is essentially reading 605 feet at 2992. So everything matches within 5 feet, and that's the way I like to set these up. Now, this customer is going to fly this plane IFR, so I've already calibrated. I've gone through the static system test for that first G5, and now having calibrated the second G5, I'm going to do this one as well, and then he will be good to go for instrument flight. Thanks for watching the video, and leave any questions or comments below. Thank you and have a good day.